and welcome to Time Mini Reads, Reviews, Discusses, Monologues about everything and anything, and that's on period. Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. So I wanted to quickly get into the books that I bought in Q1 of 2026. So books that I bought January, February, March. I did quite buy a bunch of books, which I didn't expect to spend that much or to buy that many, but I just so happened that there were a lot of things or a lot of books that piqued my interest. I decided to go into them. One book was a gift from a friend, so I will talk about that one when I get there. But then I did have a lot of books, and also I think when you're reading series, you kind of have to buy the whole books. So that's also why I was in this predicament. But anyways, let's get into all of the books that I bought in Q1 of 2026. So then the first book, again, I'm not going in any particular order, but the first book that I bought was The Everlasting by Alex Harrow. This is not really something that I would pick up, but I did get recommendations from a couple of people that I follow, and I, enjoy their reviews. And this seemed like something that I would like. It's almost like a gothic fantasy historical kind of romance. So again, there's a lot of things going on. It's talking about Sarah Honor Everlasting, who was history's greatest hero, and it's kind of like a Arthurian legend. And then there is a scholar, Owen Mallory, who is studying this Sir Honor Everlasting lady person, and basically it's like a Groundhog Day kind of thing where he gets to relive. I don't know if it's a certain day or a certain period in life with this Arthurish person. So it's very interesting. It has to do with something with a sword. So I thought it was fascinating. I was like, well, I mean, I'll pick it up. I don't mind. I just haven't read it since I got it, but I definitely will pick it up. Now, in March, like I said, I'm reading a couple of series, or I'm in the middle of book series. So I did buy The Butcher's Masquerade, and I also got the book 6, which is The Eye of the Bedlam Bride by Dinniman, this is book 6 of Dungeon Crawler Carl, and I would definitely be picking up the next book after this. I don't know when, but we'll see. Whenever I finish this, I'm definitely going to jump into the next one, and I will buy that book, right? But this one is surprising, and this is actually the first time I'm buying this in physical copy. I usually just buy it on my Kindle because it's cheaper. I mean, this book alone was like $40. That's a lot, but you can see how chunky the book is, and it does have. Oh, this is upside down. It does have some okay, maybe it doesn't. I thought it had like some drawings in it or whatever. But anyways, the DCC books, definitely one of my fave. Now the next book is one that's kind of surprised me because I thought, like, when I first read the first book in this series, I was like, yeah, I'm done. I'm not reading this again. But again, I've heard a lot of great reviews, raven reviews. Now that the series is completed, I think. So I'm like, maybe I should give it a second chance. And that would be Howling Dark by Christopher Rocchio, which is book 2 of The Sun Eater. Now, I read the first book, which is Empire of Silence. It wasn't bad. It was more like a prelude of a prelude. Like, it was so introductory. Like, we basically get the backstory in painstaking detail. So as at that time, the action hadn't really started. So let's say it might be unfair for me to DNF at that point. And so that's why I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give it a second chance. A lot of people that I enjoy their book reviews really like the Sun Eater series. So I'm like, you know what? I will give it a second chance. So this is book 2, and I'm thinking, like, in book 2, we really, really start getting to the meat of the story. So we'll see. I don't know when I'm going to pick it up, but we'll see. Now, the next book was a gift from a sweet friend of mine, A Place Called Maybe by Damola Makinde. So this is kind of like it's talking about a immigrant story, basically someone leaving Nigeria to come to America with his wife and kid, and maybe something happens Oh yeah, it says he. Yeah, okay. Something happens. I'm not gonna say the whole book, but the blurb at the back is really informative about what happens. I haven't picked this up yet, but I just got it. I really like the design. The cover is pretty nice. So let's see, how interesting this is. I really do love reading my African Nigerian stories, so I'm excited for this one. Now, another set of books that I bought in first quarter, and this was also influenced heavily by Bridgerton. I had been watching the shows, but I never read the books, right? But whenever season 4 came out, which is Sophie and Benedict's story, and I was like, you know what? I really like this book, the show, and I am a reader first, right? So I was like, I'll just pick it up. So I this is crazy. I picked up all the books, books 1 through maybe 6. I haven't picked the last two, which is Gregory and Hyacinth, because I was like, yeah, they're a bit younger. I will pick that up, you know, down the line. So I read the first 6 books. Yeah, I read the first 6 books like all nonstop. I watched the the Netflix show, all 4 seasons, and I basically was in the Regency era for like Headspace for like a whole 2 months. Like I was just existing in that whole space, and it was nice. I liked it there. So those were I bought all those books on my Kindle. I like I said, I still have 2 more books to finish in that series, but those are something that's not something I feel compelled to read like anytime soon. The next, and those books are by, what's her name? The author is, I forget. I'll put it up. Now, the next couple of books I'm going to be looking down is Still Gods by Richard Swan. That is in, as at the time I'm recording this, it's in the mail. I should get it maybe, in a couple of days. This is a pre-order item. This book came out in March, maybe the second or the third week in March. So I haven't gotten my physical copy yet, but once it comes in, I'm definitely excited to read it because this is the conclusion to the first book that came out last year. I forgot the name, but I've talked about Richard Swan a lot, and if you watch my videos, you know how much I really enjoy his books. This is kind of like a horror Eldritch kind of book. There's some historical, kind of elements into it, but it's definitely not for the faint-hearted. If you're like grossed out by creepy things, this is definitely, or if you like creepy things, this is one for you. Then the next book that I got was I, Medusa by Ayana Gray. This is a Greek retelling of Medusa's origin story. Not something that I thought I would have liked, but again, I saw a lot of rave reviews from people that I respect their reviews, and I was like, you know what? I do like Greek mythology. I just haven't read it in recent times. Might pick it up. So I got that. I also got The Children of Gods and Fighting Men by Shauna Lawless. This is also a weird one for me because it's not really something that I would have thought that I would have liked. But again, I heard so many good things about it. So I'm super excited to get into this series. This is a series, right? So I want to do standalone, but at the same time, I find that, book series, trilogies, duologies, you know, more than 3 books, they're kind of more interesting, right? And you always have that I'm looking forward to something else next, right? After you finish one book to the other. So I'm like, yeah, I know I have so many other like uh series that I need to finish. I really shouldn't be buying new books or standing or trying to start new series, but it's the situation of things. Anyways, after that, I got Fool's Errand, and Golden Fool, which is books 1 and book 2 of the Tawny Man trilogy by Robin Hobb. This is the continuation of Assassin's Quest trilogy from the first set of trilogies. So this is gonna be following Fitz in his adult years as an adult, I don't know, assassin, whatever he is. So I'm super looking forward to this books. I just haven't gotten into it yet because the first trilogy was just pain, right? Assassin's Quest, the Royal Assassin, everything. It was just there's so much pain for Fitz, and I just don't know if I'm ready. I will read it. I will read it this year. I promise myself, because I don't want too much time to pass between each books, because Robin Hobb's Realm of the Elderling is so intricate. You don't want to miss details. And so I feel like I have to pick this up sometime in the second quarter, which I will, but I already have the first two books in the Tawny Man, so fingers crossed that I will get to it. Another book I picked up was Spark of the Everflame by Penn. This one was more of a impulse buy, and also kind of like a booktube kind of buy, because it's not something that I would read or find myself drawn to, but a lot of people had great comments about it. So I was like, okay, maybe I could buy it. And I think it was kind of like on sale, it was like $1.99 or so. That always kind of um I guess like makes me buy books, because if it's cheaper and it's something that I had on my radar, I'm like, okay, maybe I will get the book. So I did get this one. This is kind of like a think Fort Wing, but no dragons. Think I'm trying to look for all those other like I don't know. It's something like a Fort Wing kind of thing, right? So I don't know, whenever I get into it, I'll get into it, and I will probably review it at some point. And it's a book series, so there's like 4 books. So again, I don't know if I'm going to have to get into all of this series, because I literally, like I said, Bridgerton, I bought the whole 6 books all at once. It wasn't cheap. So we'll see about Spark of the Everflame. I think it's the Kindred's Curse. That's the name of the book series. Anyways, I bought another random one, which is Babel by R.F. Kuang. Again, R.F. Kuang, I'm kind of like conflicted, because I tend to love, hate her books. Not her, I just don't like her character. She's so good at writing deeply flawed and annoying characters that you just never want to root for. So I put off reading Babel for so long, but after I read her book that came out last year about descending into hell, Catabasis, I was like, you know what? Catabasis wasn't bad. So I'm like, okay, maybe she's not an author buy for sure. Not she's not on that list, but I'm like, if I want something academic, I want to feel smart, like really smart, I'll pick it up. So we'll see when I ever get to read it. But the good thing about her books are they're mostly standalone, so I appreciate that, because once I finish a book series or I'm in the middle of a series, I don't want to jump right into the next book. I can always pick a standalone novel, and it's just easy to remove my head from whatever I was reading and get into something else. And the last book, which is also another series, so apparently I'm starting another series this year, we'll see, will be Of Blood and Fire by Ryan Cahill. Now, this is also another very popular booktube, I don't say booktube, but this is a very popular fantasy book series by Ryan Cahill. I think it's actually completed. There's like maybe 4 books in this series. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But I have heard from a couple of people that I've spoken to, and we've talked about books, and this was highly recommended. So I'm thinking that at some point I will get to this. I'm not getting to it. I'm not going to get into it anytime soon, because I really do want to finish Realm of the Elderlings in this year. And at the same time, I want to have a lot of diversity. I just don't want to be stuck in one world reading basically one book for like an extended period. So I'm going to be interspersing it with other books, but I just don't want to get into any other book series that's going to consume my time, if that makes sense. But I did get it, and it's on my Kindle, so I can definitely pick it up at any time I want. And again, I feel like sometimes buying book ones of series kind of helps you like know if you're going to commit or not. And if you get it at a good deal, that's even better, because this is not the age where you go and buy 4 books when you don't even know if you're going to like the first one. We used to do that before. Now you got to be smart, right? So you buy your first book, you read it, then you're like, oh, okay, it's good. I'm gonna buy the next one, right? And that's like how if an author is like really good, because if you read the first book and you're end on a cliffhanger, or the writing is just so compelling, you're like, give me book 2 like right away. So And this is for, and all of these series, I think the only one that's ongoing right now is the DCC ones. Bridgerton's all completed. Um, Robin Hobb's all completed, you know? So it just speaks to how good a book is that you want to read the next book and the next book and the next book in the series. So but yeah, those are all the books. It was a mouthful, that was a lot, but those are all the books I bought in Q1 of 2026. Some of them I will probably have read by the time I'm releasing this video, because I wanted to wait till like the very end of the quarter to put this out. So you probably heard me talk about a couple of the books that I mentioned. Maybe I've read them, who knows. But anyways, thank you for watching. Let me know any books that you've read, any of the books that I mentioned maybe are on your list. You've read them, they're good, they're great, they're not so great. Any other series that you think I might be interested in, let me know in the chat. But thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Until then, bye.